Good afternoon, everyone. As we have covered our first topic, that is sterile product, we'll start our second topic, that is ophthalmic product. So, as we have discussed in sterile formulations, so it also includes, apart from the parenteral formulations, there are some ophthalmic preparations are there that also falls under the sterile formulations because as we know the field of ocular drug delivery, which is one of the interesting and challenging attempt facing the pharmaceutical scientists because we have to take the proper precautions to prepare all those formulations. So the formulations that includes like some gels are there, some eye drops are there. So interior as well as the exterior formulations that we have to prepare, and they must be sterile as we have used as we are preparing the sterile pharmaceutical parenteral preparation, these ophthalmic products are must be sterile because as we know eye which is a very delicate parts of our body and it is very difficult to maintain the sterility when we are formulating the ophthalmic formulations. We have seen in the cosmetics also when we have discussed about the eye cosmetics like the mascara preparation, the cardiac preparations or any preparation that we are preparing. So all the preparations that we are using for the using in or the outside of the eye that must be sterile. Means that mostly they have comes in contact with the eye. So this particular ophthalmic product or we can say the ocular system which is significantly improved over the 10 to 20 years as there are various advanced techniques are there. We can see nowadays advanced products are available in the market to treat the ophthalmic conditions or the eye conditions. There are some lacrisates are there, some contact lenses they have developed. So that there are various problems that we can work on, or that is a improving. We are at an improving stage for the ophthalmic products. So basically, in this particular ophthalmic product, we are going to discuss about the physiology of the eye, means anatomy and the physiology of the eye. What are different parts of the eye? What are their workings? What are the physiological conditions that are there? Then under that, how the tears are formed? What are the tear films? How the tear films are formed? The ocular bioavailability, that is the important thing that we have to consider because how much amount of drug will be available once you are administered in an eye, that has to be understood, and then only we can proceed for the formulating the ophthalmic products. So there are various types of formulations are there, like some solutions are there, suspensions are there, gels are there, no advanced in situ gels are there that plays very important roles. In the contact lenses, some lacrisates are there. There are various these erodibles as well as the non-erodible inserts are there. Occlusers and contact lenses. So we are going to discuss about them also in details. So types of lenses are there. Types of lens solutions are there. For the cleaning solutions are there. Lubricants are there. Some of you are using the lenses in some functions or everywhere. So you know how to store them or how to clean them or how to apply them to the eyelids, not eyelids on iris. So that all we are going to discuss in formulations perspective. What are the different additives are there for the packaging, for the formulating the ophthalmic products? What are different packaging conditions are there? And at the end, we are going to check the quality assurance and the quality control test for ophthalmic products. In today's lectures, we will mostly concentrate on point 1, that is, we are going to discuss about anatomy, physiology of eye, lacrimal systems and tears, and if get time we will discuss about the cornea and ocular viability. But in today's lectures we will cover this much points. So the anatomy will be means once you understand the anatomy or the physiological functions of the eye, so you can understand how the drug or whatever the formulation that we are going to prepare that will be delivered to that specific site and how they will treat. So that's why This anatomy, physiology and lacrimal system is very important to understand before moving to the formulation purpose. Like in a transdermal drug delivery system, we have first discussed about the skin structures. Likewise, so here we are going to discuss about the anatomy and physiology of the eye in today's lectures, and then we'll move for the formulation perspectives of ophthalmic products. So basically, what are the ophthalmic preparations? So ophthalmic preparations, these are the specialized dosage form which are designed to be instilled into the external surface of the eye, that is topically. We have to administer inside the eye, that we call as the intraoculars, or adjacent to the eye, that is called as the perioculars, or used in the conjunction with the ophthalmic devices. So these are this is the definitions of the ophthalmic preparations. So what it is? They are specialized dosage form which are designed to be instilled into the external surface of the eye. Eye drops that we know. Sorry, not eye drops. There are some gels are there that we are applying. Then topic administered insides. Eye drops are there or adjacent to the eye, which is called the periocular. Topical, intraoculars and the periocular, and used in a conjunction with an ophthalmic devices. Likewise, for the parental preparations we require the injections. Here we require some droppers or some applicators are there to apply the formulations or specific surface area, either in the external surface of the eye or either in an internal surface. So intraocular, periocular or the topical purpose. So the most commonly employed ophthalmic dosage form are solutions, suspensions and ointments, and nowadays the advanced dosage forms are there for the ophthalmic drug delivery system. There are gels are there, gel forming solution, that is in situ gels we can call them, means at the initial time they are in a solution form, but when it comes in contact with the lacrimal fluids they will convert it into the gels. They are called the in situ gel forms. And like ocular inserts that already in introductory part I have discussed regarding the ocular inserts. There are two types, occlusives and lens cards. Basically, erodables and non-erodible inserts are there. So under that, occlusives, contact lenses are there, so implants are there. So that we'll discuss in detail one by one about all those dosage forms in a formulation development of ophthalmic dosage form. So basically, drugs which are commonly applied to the eyes for the localized effect or the medications on the surface of the eye or in its or in its interior parts. So most frequently, aqueous solutions are employed, but basically non-aqueous solutions, suspensions, and ophthalmic ointments are also there, that are commonly used. So now these are the advanced are there, ocular inserts are there, we call the occlusors. So these occlusors or the inserts are there, they are implanted with the drugs, so to provide a continuous release of the medications. So these particular occlusors or the ocular inserts or the implants, so these are particularly useful for those drugs which require the frequent daytime and a nighttime administrations. So the continuous release will be carried out throughout the durations. Because suppose you are applying the ointments or suspension in your eyes, so eyes will become the sticky. So to avoid those problems, and it will cause the blur visions. So to avoid those, these are the some advanced developments are there that has been takes place. But again the same thing, as already I have discussed why this physiology of eye is very much important, because the capacity of the eye to retain the liquids and to maintain the ointment preparations is limited, and they are generally inserted or administered in a small volumes, and we require a larger volume of liquid preparation that is used to flush or wash tanks. So the volume of the tears in the eyes is maximum 7 microliters. So whereas non-blinking eyes can accommodate maximum up to 30 microliter of the fluid. So that's why the physiology, how the drug is transferred from one position to the another positions, that we have to understand. And as the eye, which is a very delicate part of our body, we have to take the proper precautions to formulate the ophthalmic preparations. Means all the formulations must be carried out in sterile formulations. Like a sterile formulations, we have means like a grade 1 or grade A or grade B areas are there. So same areas are there that we have to use to formulate, to feel, to seal and to pack the sterile formulations. So this is the introductory parts for the ophthalmic formulations. Now we'll move to the physiology and anatomy of the eye system. What are different parts of the eyes, how or what are their functions are there, so that we are going to discuss. So these are the different drugs that are used in the eye. In myotic conditions, so myotics that are used in the treatment of the glaucoma, so which reduce the intraocular pressures associated with the glaucoma. Some of the pilocarpine or the neostigmine is also there, or the physostigmine is also there, that can be used as a myotics. So they reduce the intraocular pressures. Then mydriatics and cycloplegics are there, mostly atropine that is used. So mydriatics or cycloplegic that allows the examinations of the fundus. Means we'll see the parts of the eye that we discuss. So these particular mydriatics and cycloplegic drugs that allow the examinations of the fundus of the eye for the dilations of the pupils. So the stronger mydriatics and the long durations of the actions, that is called as cycloplegic. So mydriatics and cycloplegics are the same term, but the long duration पर्यंत mydriatics वाढवण्यात cycloplegics म्हणतात. So mostly atropine or the scopolamine is also used, or some cocaine or the cyclopentolate is also used as cycloplegic drugs. Then anti-inflammatories are there. So these particular anti-inflammatories they combat the inflammations of the eyes. So mostly hydrocortisones or the prednisolons or the hexaconazole salt that is used, mostly corticosteroids that is most commonly used as an anti-inflammatory drug. Anti-infectives are there. So they reduce the microbial presence of the eyes. So mostly antibiotics we are using, antivirals are there, antibacterials are there. Mostly with the conjunctiva, infections will occur on our eyes. So to remove that infections, we are using these anti-infectives are there. Anti-glaucoma drugs that we already discussed, myotic drugs, pilocarpines, adjuncts are there. Some irrigating solutions are there. Means sometimes because of the continuous watching of mobile or in laptops, there may be the dryness in eyes. So for that purpose, we are using some formulations. So they act as an artificial tear, so that they will help for the to reduce the dryness of the eye. Sometimes for the diagnostic purpose, and local anesthetics are also there. Tetracaine is also there. So these are employed topically to reduce the microbial presence on the eye. These local anesthetics that allows for the relief of the pain or from the pain is during the operations, is before any operations, pre-operative or the post-operative pain can be reduced with the help of the anesthetic. Among the major anesthetic that we use, that are tetracaines are there, then binoximate is there, proparacaine is there, cocaine is also there. And in the ophthalmic examinations, these particular anesthetics that plays very important roles. Along with that, there are some astringents that we are using, so that can reduce the inflammations of the conjunctiva. Sometimes redness occurs. or sometimes during the redness, the water content is also reduced in our release from our eye, so that can be reduced with the help of the astringents. So these are different types of drugs candidates that are used for the ophthalmic formulations. Now we actually move to the anatomicals and the physiology of the eye system. Now here we can see there are different parts. Let's concentrate on an eye only. Now this is the total parts of eye. If you are take the cross-sectional view of our eye, then it will look like this. So we can call it the eyeball. It is a bilateral or the spherical organs which is lies in a bony cavity. We call the bony orbitals. So mostly we are saying facial cavity आहे किंवा we can say the facial skeleton आहे. त्याच्यामध्ये एका orbitals मध्ये आपले eyes हे place केलेले असतात. So basically it looks like a ball. Okay, so that they are called the eyeballs. So let's look in details about the eye. So this is the various parts of the eye that we are going to discuss here. So basically, okay. So basically, or we can say that anatomically, the eyeball is divided into three parts. Okay, first part that is called as the fibrous part, second part that is called as the vascular parts, and third one that is the inner layer. So fibrous part of eye, which is the outermost layer, we can call this layer, so which contain sclera and cornea. We'll see in details about this part, what are their functions. Just we'll discuss what exactly the parts they are having. So sclera, we can call the white portions I have. So that called as a sclera. So we can see the continuity of cornea and sclera. They are connected with each other. So basically, the main functions of these two is to protect or to provide the shape of the eye and supports the structures. So basically, this sclera, that is the whitish color part. So that sclera, which is which composed of the majority of the fibers, the fibrous layers. So that we have called the first layer, that is the fibrous layer is there. Okay. So this will be the first layer, fibrous layer, called sclera, and cornea. Here you can see. So basically, when we are taking the cross sections of our eye, so we can easily observe the different parts of our eye which are present. So this particular sclera that provides the attachment to the extraocular membrane, and these are responsible for movement of our eyes. The डोळे eyes की movement होते, which is because of this sclera. So this is called as the visible white part of the eye. जर आपण eyes बघितलं, so त्याच्यामध्ये the visible parts are here. You can see this will be our sclera. Okay, so we'll see. So the sclera, it is the protective outer layer of the eyes. It is referred to as the white of the eye, and it maintains the shape of the eyes, which is composed of fibrous layer. About more than 85% fibrous layers are there, and it will provide the attachment to the extraocular muscles. These extraocular muscles that are very important for our movement point of view. Now the second one part, that is the cornea. So this is the corneal part. So this is the, we can say the concave shaped part is here, which is connected to the lenses. Now before moving that, let's go to the once again to that side. Now this is the this is our eye part will there. So this is called the sclera. This will be our iris, and this is called as a pupil. And these black spots called as a pupil. Okay, now we are taking the cross section. We are taking the cross sections of this eye. So it will looks like this. Okay, so the cornea. So we are taking the cross section here. So this is the cornea which is attached to the iris and a lens. This is called the lens. So we will see one by one functions of each and every part. So as I said, which is divided into the three parts: fibrous parts, vascular parts, and the inner layer. Now the cornea, which is the front portions of the sclera, is transparent and allows the lights to enter the eye. So this particular cornea is a powerful refracting surface. It providing the much of the eye is focusing the power. So basically, in these portions, there are two chambers. We can say this is the anterior chamber, and this is our posterior chambers. So this particular interior chamber, so these portions which is filled with the watery humors or the aqueous humors, we call them. So like water contents are there. So most of the times we have seen water in our eyes. So that is this particular chamber which is filled with the aqueous humors, and this particular anterior chamber, the posterior chamber, is filled with the vitreous fluid. Vitreous is a glossy fluid, but it is not prepared with the glass, but which is having the glass-like structures. So this is the cornea, the second part of our fibrous layer. Then second one, that is a vascular layer is there. So which contains choroids. Then this is the ciliary body, and third one, that is the iris. So each and every parts having the specific functions. Okay, so these are belong to the, or these are next to the fibrous layer. So fibrous layer we can call it the outermost layer, which is composed of sclera and cornea. So they are connected with each other. Cornea with a concave shaped layer. So in between the cornea and the lenses there is a aqueous humor is present, or the watery fluids are present. Now, as I have said, there are three parts in vascular layer: choroids, ciliary body, and the iris. So choroid, that is the connective tissues, and so that lies between the connective tissues and blood vessels are there, and it will provide the nourishments to the outermost layer of the retina. Here, the choroids, it is the second layer of the eye, and which lies between the sclera and the retina, and it contains the blood vessels that provides the nourishments to the outer layer of the retina. So this total part, which is composed of different types of blood vessels, and they provides. There are some connective tissues are also there. So they provide a nourishment to the outer layer of the retina. Here is the retina portion. Is here. It's total called as a retina. This is red color portion. That is the it is present in a third phase. We can call them as a inner layer. Now here the second part, the choroids, this provides nourishment values to the eye or the outer layer of the eyes. Then these are the ciliary bodies are there. Here the ciliary bodies are there. We can see these are the nerves. We can see here observe proper the nerves. And this is the ciliary body, and these are the ciliary nerves are there. So basically this ciliary body that is composed of two parts, ciliary muscles and ciliary process. So basically the main aim of this ciliary body or ciliary muscles, they the ciliary muscles have some collagen, so the smooth muscle fibers. They are present in over or rotation of the three parts. They are present longitudinally, then circular and radius. So these particular ciliary muscles or the ciliary bodies, they play very important roles to change the shape of the eye lens. So basically, why these particular ciliary muscles are needed, or why do we need these particular ciliary muscles? So what will happen? So before moving to that, we'll first discuss about this lens part or the iris part. So what is that is the most visible parts. आपण जो म्हणतो की जो ब्लॅक स्पॉट आहे आपल्या डोळ्यामध्ये, किंवा आपण एखाद्याच्या डोळ्याचे कलर म्हणतो की एखाद्याच्या डोळ्याचा कलर ब्लूइश आहे, ब्लॅकिश आहे, ब्राउनिश आहे. So basically that we are talking about the colors of that iris. So when we are talking about someone's eyes, we are talking about the color of that iris, which is having a different different persons have a different eye color, because when lights which are formed on our eyes, it will get refracted, and the color of the light get refracted depends upon the pigments that particular iris contain. So basically this particular iris, so they give you the circular, they give you the eye color, and it has the two arrangements of the fiber, so which controls the size of our pupil. So basically there are circular fibers and there are radial fibers which are present in the iris. So circular fibers, they make the sphincters of pupils muscles connected by the parasympathetic nervous systems, and activation of this system, it will causes the contractions of the pupil and limits the amount of light which is entered into the eyes. So which is the combined functions of this ciliary body and the iris. जे आपली pupils आहे त्याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला pupils दिसत नाहीये. So ही आपली लेन्स म्हणजे iris आहे, त्याच्यामध्ये जो black spot असतो मध्ये, that are called as a pupil. So black spot असतो डोळ्यामध्ये, that we are called as a pupil here. Okay. Now, what are the functions of the pupil, or how they are interconnected, that we are going to discuss. So basically, this total lens which is made up of the iris and the pupil. So iris, this is the remaining parts, which we call as an iris, and so ब्लॅक स्पॉट मध्ये असतो. डोळ्याच्या मध्ये ब्लॅक स्पॉट्स आहे दॅट वी आर कॉल्ड ॲज अ प्युपिल, की ज्याच्यामधून आपली विजन ही डिसाइड होते किंवा त्याच्यामधून दिसतं प्रॉपरली. सो प्युपिल is which through which the light is entered into the eye and which create an image on a screen so that we can able to see the image. Means whenever light falls, it will not enter into the eyes to the remaining part. It will enter into these pupils only and it will fall on this retina, which is present in the anterior parts or the inner regions that are called the retinal parts. We can call the screen here. Likewise, our projectors, त्याच्यामध्ये एखादा रिफ्रॅक्टर्स असतो किंवा एक प्रॉपरली सिस्टीम असते, लाईट त्याच्यातून पास होऊन समोर प्रोजेक्ट. So that system is there for our eyes is also there. So this is the retina, which is the innermost layer of our eye. Now we'll discuss how this particular works. So basically, iris and these ciliary bodies, they having the important role for the or they having the important job to control the size of the pupil. Why it is so? Because sir, let's consider आपण ज्यावेळी दिवसामध्ये बघतो त्यावेळी आपल्या डोळ्यावर लाईट खूप आलेले असतो किंवा आपल्याला इझिली दिसतं, पण ऍट द सेम टाइम्स व्हेन वी ट्राय टू लुक इन ऍट नाईट टाइम आपल्याला तेवढं इझिली दिसत नाही. सो ते हे तुमच्या प्युपिल्सच्या साईजच्या डायरेक्शन्सवर असतं. तुमचे प्युपिल्स आहे, so this is called the pupil and this is part is our iris parts. Okay, so that's our means I have already showed you. This is our pupil parts and this is our means this brownish color part we called as the iris. This is our sclera and this is our pupil. Okay, now what will happen? So basically, ciliary body and iris that plays very important roles. Means how the pupil will react with the intensity of the lights. That way आपले डोळे झोपायला लागतात. Means आपले कदाचित जी काही जो आपला रेटिना आहे त्याच्यावर कुठेतरी हाय इंटेन्सिटी लाईट्स पडलेले असतात आणि त्याच्यामुळे कुठेतरी आपल्या आयला बर्निंग होतं, डोळ्याला बर्निंग होतं किंवा त्या टाईपचे डिसीज होतात. सो बेसिकली जेव्हा आपण इमेज एक आपल्या डोळ्यासमोर येते तर ती कशी बेसिकली आपल्याला माहिती आहे रिफ्रॅक्टर आणि रिफ्लेक्शन्स दोन्ही आपल्याला माहिती आहे. सो बेसिकली दिस कॉर्निया अँड दिस लेन्स. सो दिस पर्टिक्युलर कॉर्निया and lens together form one converging lens systems. Lens systems they are formed and त्याच्यावर totally आपलं visualization depends. So this particular cornea, as already I have discussed, this is the anterior chamber which is filled with the aqueous humor and they are in a convex shapes. Here we can see these are in a convex shape. So this particular water, or we can call them as a aqueous humor, that very much important to maintain the to avoid the dryness of our eyes. So basically, whenever you want to concentrate on a specific object, so this particular iris, the cornea and the lens is that we are together calling as a converging lens system. So their job is to make sure that the lights from the object get focused right on the back part of the eyes, which is called as our retina. म्हणजे जो काही light reflect होणार आहे, सपोज इथे आपला एक ऑब्जेक्ट आहे, त्या ऑब्जेक्ट पासून जो येणारा लाईट आहे, तो लाईट हा स्पेसिफिकली रेटिनावर एका स्पेसिफिक अँगलने तो पडला पाहिजे. So it will goes to parallel, but here it will get together. Now in this particular retinal regions, there are some optic fibers are there, which is having some electrical signal that sends those electrical signal to the brain, and brain creates the image. That is the important thing. Now, so this particular retinas, which contain mostly light sensitive cells, so that called as a optical nerves, or those they are called as a signals. So that signals that directly connected to the brains, and then brain create the image, and then we can visualize. So once the light falls into the cells, they convert them into the electrically, and those electrical signals are carried out from the retina to our brain to some nerves which are called as the optic nerves. So here on the retina there are some light sensitive cells are there. You can see. So these types of light sensitive cells are there. They are present. So when light falls into the cells, they convert them into the electrical signals, which is sent through this optical nerve to the brain, and that brain creates the image that we can easily visualize. Now, as I already discussed, this is the anterior chambers, which is filled with the watery fluid. Now the posterior chamber, which is filled with the vitreous fluids. So it is a jelly-like substances which maintain the shape of the eyes. तर हा याच्यामध्ये कोणते फ्लुइड्स नसेल तर आपले डोळे म्हणजे प्रॉपर शेप नसतं याला. So for that purpose, this particular vitreous fluid that plays a very important role here. There is one part that I have not mentioned in equal that produces the sharpest image here. That produce the sharpest visions. So the inside of the eyeball, which is divided by the lens into two fluid-filled sections. One is the aqueous humors, which is the section in the front contains clear water-like materials. Means retina and lens मधला जो anterior chamber है त्याच्यामध्ये तो aqueous humors असतो. And larger sections, lens and retina मधला जो है, which is colorless gelatinous mass called as the vitreous humors. The conjunctiva is the mucous membrane that begins at the edge of the cornea and lines the inside surface of the iris and sclera, which serves to lubricate the eyes. So these are the different. This is the anatomy of eye. One part again I want to mention here: the functions of these ciliary bodies. So how they work? And basically. The functions of these ciliary muscles is very much important during watching when we are watching from far distance, or when we are watching from जवळची वस्तू बघतो किंवा लांबची वस्तू बघतो. पण म्हणजे जवळचा नंबर आहे किंवा लांबचा नंबर आहे त्यावर तुमच्या लेन्स डिपेंड्स असतात. सो व्हॉट विल हॅपन, सपोज ज्यावेळी आपण एखादी लांबची वस्तू बघतो, सो विच इज एक्झॅक्टली पॅरलल टू अवर लेन्स. ओके, इथून ती ट्रान्समिट होणार आहे. कुठे तुमच्या रेटिनावर सेम थिंग. त्यामुळे तुमच्या लेन्सला जास्त रिफ्रॅक्शन द्यायची गरज नाहीये किंवा जास्त फोर्स तुम्हाला अप्लाय करायची गरज नाही. Okay, so they only made the angle with hardly 10 or 20 degree angles that were to made with parallel with this particular lens. So त्यावेळी तुमच्या लेन्स ह्या रिलॅक्स पोझिशन मध्ये असतात. नाउ ज्यावेळी पण ऑब्जेक्ट खूप जवळ घेतो त्यावेळी काय तुमची जी लेंथ आहे किंवा जो अँगल आहे तो वाईड होतो आणि तिथून तुम्हाला हा पुन्हा अँगल ज्यावेळी रेटिनावर फोकस करायचा असतो तो तुमचा अँगल इन्क्रीज होतो. त्यामुळे तुमच्या ह्या ज्या मुवमेंट आहेत सिलियरी बॉडीच्या त्या मुवमेंट कुठेतरी कॉन्ट्रॅक्शन्स डायरेक्शन होत असतात. सो ज्यावेळी क्लोजर ऑब्जेक्ट असेल द ऑब्जेक्ट आर क्लोजर वी रिक्वायर्ड मोर ऑप्टिकल पॉवर कारण तेवढं तुमचा अँगल तो व्हॅरीज होणार. बट ॲट द सेम टाइम ज्यावेळी तुमचा ऑब्जेक्ट हा फार अवे असेल तुम्हाला low optical powers required, low bendings were required, so that movements will be maintained by this particular ciliary body. So the eyes maintain the power depending upon how far and how close the direct objects it is completed that is complied by this particular ciliary bodies. So त्याच्यावर तुमच्या आयची मूवमेंट डिपेंड असते. So when object is far away, we required so the optical power required is very low. So they required contractions of our lenses and also the less. In such case, ciliary muscles will be relaxed and whenever and vice versa when our object is far away. So do one thing that आपण उजेडात बघतो त्यावेळी आपले प्युपिलची मुवमेंट होत असते. एक काम करा एकदा अंधारामध्ये जा आणि आरशामध्ये आपले प्युपिल्स चेक करा की जेव्हा आपण डायरेक्टली लाईट पडतो त्यावेळेस प्युपिलच्या साईजचे कॉन्ट्रॅक्शन्स आणि रिलॅक्सेशन्स आपल्याला इझिली ऑब्झर्व होतात. So these are the different functions or this is the anatomical parts of our eye. So basically the eye which is divided into three parts, fibrous layers, then vascular layers and the inner layer, fibrous layers which is composed of two parts, sclera and second one that is the cornea. Viscous vascular parts which is composed of choroids, then iris and ciliary bodies. Then the inner parts which is called the retina, which is composed of retina and there are some signals are there, electrical signals are there, or we can call them as the light sensitive cells are there. So they convert the signals to the optic nerves and they will send to the brain. So brain creates the image in our visualization. Then macula is there, so that will provide the clear visions. Now there are two types of fluids which is present on anterior chambers. One is present in anterior chambers and one is present in posterior chamber. Anterior chambers which is between the cornea and the lens, and posterior chambers which is between the lens and the retina. So in the anterior chambers there is aqueous tumors are there, or the aqueous fluids are there, or here in posterior chambers between the lens and retina which contains some vitreous fluids. The remaining parts that we'll discuss in the next lecture. Okay. The lacrimal systems is there that we'll discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.